He's climbing in your windows. He's snatching your people up, trying to rape them. So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and hide your husband.
Okay, so let's talk about Real Housewives of Atlanta this week. Bottom line, Porsha is not a friend to anyone. Shamea has always had Porsha's back, and Porsha has never had Shamea's back. I remember this was a few seasons ago when Phaedra was still on the show. I believe it was right around this time, the same season that they had Dungeon Gate, or it may have been a season before that. It was Phaedra, I believe it was Sheree and Porsha. They were all sitting at the table, and this was right around the time where Phaedra had a falling out with Candy, and she made a comment about Shamea, and I remember Phaedra basically because they were trying to whisper, because I believe at that time Bravo had given them a break, so because they were filming and Bravo had given them the break, so they didn't realize that they still had their mics on, or actually they did realize that they had their mics. That's why Phaedra was whispering, and she made a little remark that that Shamea and Candy were messing around.
At first, I don't know why Candy is so angry at me. If we are friends, I'm not going to try to hurt you. Now I feel like you're just being malicious. You've sicked your homemade thugs that you call employees on me. It just continues like...
What I hate happened is that after their conversation, it left that space. Those details left that space. It came to you, Sheree, Kenya, and Cynthia. Now Shamea knows this whole conversation. On top of all that,
you left all the details. Your friend, Shamea.
What is she talking about?
Shamea, talking about the fact that you had liked her husband back in the day.
Well, people say Shamea's living everybody's husband. Well, who talk about that? You know, I can't like
you gonna hear that? Yeah, Candy best friend.
Wait, Candy was you a motherfucking liar. You knew that?
They are really close.
But you think that too?
I mean, she's close to both of them.
She doing her inside.
She doing both.
Then we go back to Shamea's wedding. Again, Porsha made up some excuse that she couldn't go to the wedding because she has some type of medical condition. And then she said that when she wanted to actually go, and she said it was too late because the flights were very expensive. And I remember, I think it was Candy. She turned to Shekinah, because I believe Shekinah went to the wedding as well. And she turned around to Shekinah and she said, Shekinah, did you have any trouble getting your ticket? And Shekinah said she didn't.
To be there. You're supposed to be in the wedding. Figure that shit out. Porsha has dogged Shamea out. Treated her like shit. And now she doesn't even want to go to the girl's wedding. So to me, I'm like, you really need her as your friend?
Like, physically, I just can't do it in coach.
Why don't you go to the doctor?
You know when I passed out at the nail shop.
She has been milking this whole...
I'm supposed to, Shamea.
Yeah, put me on y'all's payroll. Okay, so help me understand the condition.
Oh my God, I can't.
I sent you the whole thing on it.
I know, I was mad. I didn't read it.
Oh, that's not nice.
Why was mad?
Because I was telling you something about my health. I would have thought you would have read that.
She got a doctor's excuse for everything.
So bottom line, Porsha can tell the truth to save her life. And going back to the whole Dungeon Gate, I don't believe that Porsha really thought that Candy and Todd were going to take her in the dungeon. Because that whole thing at the reunion, it seemed really fake. Either she's really dumb or she's a great actress, because she sat in that reunion and she goes, and when Phaedra was like, when Phaedra finally, I forget what excuse Phaedra gave, then Portia's gonna turn around, you're gonna have to, that's not what you told me, and she tried to play dumb and all.
That does not make it true.
Why do you believe that Candy and Todd would try to drug you to take advantage of you?
I was served a cease and desist by Candy. So what I want to do is have Phaedra speak, because she's the one who told me that Candy said that. You said that?
The epic conclusion of the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion starts now.
That I want to
to drug her.
So now we know.
Not
Oh my
say
God.
That. You
She
said
just
that.
said you said it.
I did not say it. That is some bullshit.
Hold on. I said I was told. I did not accuse you of that, Candy. I asked you. And at that point, you told me it wasn't true and I let it go. But what I'm telling you.
That's not true.
Yes, I did let it go. Oh, I absolutely let it go. But I'm telling you, I was told that by Phaedra, and she can explain to you where she got that from.
I repeated it because I heard it.
No, she said it. She said it to you, Phaedra.
No, something was brought to me. I repeated it.
No, you told me she said it to you.
Oh,
See, that's
there
what
you
I'm
go.
talking
There you go.
about.
The lies. There you
The
go.
lies.
This bitch,
The
I'm
lies.
telling you. Trifling.
I don't think Porsha thought that Phaedra was going, that she believed what Phaedra told her. Porsha she plays dumb, but I don't believe she's all that dumb. So Shamea needs to, if I was Shamea, I would watch my husband around Porsha, because seems like Porsha wants Shamea's life. If you noticed, I believe someone else said it as well. Shamea had the 2 weddings. When Porsha got married, she had to have the 2 weddings. If you notice, Shamea went out and she has an African husband, or Nigerian or Kenyan husband. Porsha had to go out there and get one. So I believe that Porsha is envious of Shamea and she wants Shamea's life. I do not respect anyone who goes after someone's husband. I don't care if Simon and Fallon were having any problems. Bottom line is, Porsha, she went over to Fallon's house. She saw that Fallon was living this luxury life, and she said, you know what, I'm going to go in here. I want this life. So that's why she slid. She says, oh, she was just checking on Simon. She wasn't checking on Simon. She wanted to slide her butt in there so she can get with Simon. So then she didn't, I don't believe she loved Simon. She wanted the money, and she wanted to be able to compete against Shamea. Because if you notice, when Shamea's husband purchased that car for her, Porsha showed up really late, and I believe did she get in the car? I can't remember, but I wouldn't trust Porsha. I lost all respect for her when she went after Fallon, and I also believe that Dennis' mother, she knew what Porsha was about. That's why she was trying to tell Dennis basically to sign a prenup, and I don't think she really cared for Porsha, because Porsha is a gold digger, and I don't believe I believe, what is it, the fruit don't fall, the apple don't fall far from the tree or something. I believe she gets it from her mother. I don't like to talk about people's mothers, but I believe that's where Porsha gets it from. So this season actually is very good. It started off for me, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the new castmates, but I really like the castmates. I love Angela, even though she might be having those hot flashes. I love Angela. I love how, you know, she can hold her own, and especially when she told Britt about the wrinkles or the stretch marks around her mouth. And on a side note, Britt reminds me so much of Nicki Minaj. She looks almost like Nicki Minaj with all that plastic surgery. I hope that Britt doesn't come back this season, because it seems like she's just doing it a little bit too much. She belongs on Love and Hip Hop and not Real Housewives of Atlanta. And that's the issue that we have with a lot of these newer housewives that come on. It's not as organic as it was when it first started. These housewives now, they've had an opportunity to watch the shows, and they know how the shows operate. So I believe that Britt came on the show. She targeted Kenya because Kenya was one of the OGs of the show, and she felt like, you know what, in order for me to get more play, I'm going to go after Kenya. And then Kenya retaliated, so now Kenya's off the show. But going back to Porsha, Shamea, that's not your real friend. You need to just give it up. I wouldn't be friends with someone like that. And let's talk again about Angela. I loved Angela this episode. I love the interaction with her and Charles, or however she says his name. But I love their interaction. Charles seems like he is, he tells it like it is. He doesn't hold anything back. It was funny when she asked him, or I think that one of the producers asked him if he loved her, and he didn't say anything. I love their interaction and their relationship. And I believe it was Carlos King said that he had been trying to get them on I was about to say Love and Hip Hop. I meant to say Real Housewives of Atlanta. He had been trying to get Angela on the show for a while, and I see why. She is, what in my opinion, the perfect housewife. She has the husband, she has the house, similar to Shamea. She has that because originally when the Real Housewives of Atlanta started, it was basically to showcase these women who live behind the gates and showing their opulent, I can't even speak the word, but you know what I mean. They meant to show their fabulous lives, and I believe over the seasons it's gotten away from that premise of that, and some of the housewives now it's not even a requirement for you to be married. The first episode of the season, I think Kim was the only one who wasn't married, but all of the other ladies were married. So I love Angela this season, and I love her. Like I said, I love it how she sticks it to all of them. She seems, like I said, I believe she seems like she's a lot older, only because she looks like she's going through menopause, which is not a bad thing because I'm experiencing it too. So it's nothing shady about that. Britt, I do not like. I do not want her to come back for another season. Kelly, I like Kelly. I like Kelly a lot. This episode, we got to see her daughters. So I do like Kelly a lot. It was nice when Cynthia came in and she was trying to comfort Shamea, and she said that she doesn't like to see when friendships get in this group gets affected, and she's speaking more so from experience because of what happened between her and Needy. The only difference is prior to the show, Nene and Cynthia did not know each other. The difference here is that Porsha and Shamea, they have been friends since they were children. So there's a lot of history there. So I can see how Shamea would be upset. Shamea's been going hard for Porsha throughout all these years, and Porsha doesn't seem to reciprocate. Like, for example, when Shamea was playing her new song, and Porsha was like, "Oh, is that you?" She said she thought it was Drew. She knew it wasn't Drew. Like I said, Porsha has just she's first of all, I don't think she wants. Excuse me, sorry for that. I don't believe she wanted Shamea on the show, even though she said that when she gave a list of the housewives that Shamea was in that mix. She didn't want Shamea in as part of the group, especially now that Shamea is taking all the shine away from her. And one thing I do like about Shamea is, although she does wear a lot of labels, which kind of irks me, but you would have never known when she was a friend on the show that she was hiding, or she was hiding her opulent lifestyle. I mean, the elevator in the house, I mean, all of that is just, you would have never known that. So I like the fact that she's more down to earth. She's not trying to throw the money up in someone's face. Unlike some of the other cast members, when they get a car, they just have to let everyone know, or they have to drop, the names of their outfits. Shamea doesn't do that, although she does wear a lot of labels. And sometimes just because it costs a lot and has someone's name on it doesn't necessarily mean that it necessarily will look, it looks good. I think in this episode, I believe she had on, was it Chanel? I can't remember. I'm not really a label person, but she had on, the boots were really nice, and then she had the C's on the something. So I thought that was a little, she overdid it, but I did notice that she wears a lot of labels. So I think the MVP of this particular season is Angela, hands down. Angela. Porsha is not a good friend. Shamea needs to just drop Porsha. She needs to let her go. And like I said, I wouldn't trust her around my husband. Also, Kelly, I like Kelly. Kelly, like I said, she says she's going through that divorce or something about they have to sell the house and she's going to get the proceeds. Britt, don't come back. Don't come back, Britt. So we'll see what happens next episode. But that is it for me. Thank you guys for sitting through this. And you just disregard how I look right now. I've decided to do this review while I'm actually in laying down. But I would love it if you guys could subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up. My channel is For the Love of Coco. That's the number 4, For the Love of Coco 2006. Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.